Hi, this is Ryan again with Automatic Comics, and I've got a couple more boxes to open up. I've been waiting to open this one on the bottom for a while, so I'm happy to film this little video. So there should be 4 books between the 2 boxes, and let's see. So in this box, I have had both of these before, but never this type. So I'll kind of get into that a little bit more once I get them out, because these they're basically a special version of a comic. So you know, this is if you watch my prior videos, this is from the same seller as a couple videos back where all the cardboard came out. So but yeah, it works. It keeps everything in place in the box. So there's a lot of tape here, I think, for me to maneuver those. So this may take me a little bit to get this open. So while I'm doing that, and maybe I'll speak a little bit to these books. So if you're, I think most people are aware, and probably most people are aware of these other ones as well, but not everybody. So there are direct editions of comics, and then there are the newsstand editions of comics, and they kind of speak for themselves, but basically the direct editions were ones that more or less went to like comic book shops. So they went straight to those shops, and they tend to be, you're more likely to find them in better condition. Whereas the newsstand editions, like the name implies, they were sent to sit out on newsstands or spinner racks or whatever, 7-Eleven, whenever you pick those up. If you're collecting back in that time, you would get these newsstand editions, and those tend to be, at least in higher grade, they tend to hold more value. So if you watch sales of books, you'll see, like, for example, one of them is that I've seen this recently with is Amazing Spider-Man 194. So that's the first appearance of Black Cat, and a direct edition goes for about $2,000 right now in a 9.8. But a newsstand sold recently in a 9.8 for around $3,000, it's like $2,900 or something. And so you can see, like, when you get to these higher grades where not only does the newsstand, as time goes on, they tend to be less common. In the early stages, there were more of them than the direct editions. But regardless, high grades of those tend to command a much higher value. Now, there are a couple variations on the newsstand. So those 2 types of variation, I'm sure I'm missing some, but the 2 main ones that are pretty collectible are Canadian variants. So those are always going to be newsstands. They'll have the Canadian price, the Canadian price variants, and they're rare, and especially rare in high grade. So they can command a pretty significant value increase. The other type is what this is, and so this is a Amazing Spider-Man 194, which just happened to be the one I was talking about, and this is a Mark Jewelers insert. So here, if you can, I don't know if you can make that out or not, but you can see on the top in the description, it says, sorry, it's sideways, but it says Mark Jewelers insert. And if you look at the book from the side, you can usually see it. It's basically a jewelry advertisement that's in the middle of the book that was typically or generally delivered to military bases, and it was something that then reading through the comics, and they could find something that they wanted to purchase and send to their spouse or girlfriend or whatever. It's just because if they couldn't get access to a store, this is a way that they could order something and send it. And so these are always newsstand, and they are a much more rare version of that book. So they do tend to command a premium, especially again at the higher grades. And so let's see if this one has and that's cool. This one, I don't know if you can see it or not. You can see it's right underneath the 40 cent. It's not real clear, but there's a star. And so when these were sent to those bases, they would get stamped with a star, And so that's that. I couldn't see it in the picture when I bought it. I was wondering if it had it, and it definitely does. So that's really cool that it has that that stamp on it. So to me, I really like date stamps. I like store stamps. I know some people don't, but so that to me that adds something to it. Then the other one is also a Mark Jewelers insert, and this one is Marvel Premiere number 47. So this is the first time that, it's not the first appearance of Scott Lang. I can't remember offhand which book that is. It's where there's a bunch of people on the cover at once, but it is the first time that he is Ant-Man. And I know, because it's a relatively modern book, you know, it's a 1979, and I know it isn't a super high grade, but when you take into consideration that it's, you know, a newsstand Mark Jewelers insert, it is a pretty nice copy of that book. If it's just kind of like your standard, you know, non-key book, those inserts might not really add too much. It might add a little bit. It might make them a little more desirable, so easier to sell, but not add a whole lot to the value. But when you start getting into kind of some more key issues, you can definitely see an increase in that price, especially for people that are maybe trying to put together a collection of Mark Jewelers insert, you know, books. So the other one here, this one has two Moon Knight books in it. So Moon Knight obviously has just blown up over the last couple years, or maybe last year or so, and you know, with the eventual, you know, likely coming of the TV show based on him. And so it's the other reason why one of the prior books that I showed in the previous unboxing, what is it, Marvel Spotlight #2, the first appearance of Werewolf by Night. Moon Knight's first appearance has Werewolf by Night on it. He's fighting him, and so they're likely going to appear together at least at some point, and so that's why both of those books have been spiking lately. But this is not either one of those books. This is two that are a little more affordable than Werewolf by Night 32 or Marvel Spotlight #2. Werewolf by Night 32, if you're not aware, is the first appearance of Moon Knight, and I've had a couple copies of that, and I've sold them both. I had a 6.5 that was actually from when I was a kid. I actually is one of the books I bought off the wall at our local comic shop, and I didn't know anything back then what I was doing, but I did like I was much more of a you know, I bought typically a little bit older books when I was an early collector. I didn't buy as much modern. Now that doesn't mean I don't have like 8 or 10 copies of X-Men #1 in a box in the basement, because I do, but I also tended to buy some of the older books, but I've let both of those go so far. If I find another one, I'll probably pick it up. But the other one was a 9.2. That one was really nice. But the one that I had when I was a kid ended up being a 6.5, and which is a nice grade for that book. It's a cool purple cover. You know, he's right on the front in the cover. It's a good action cover, so you can see why it's a desirable book. It's a cool first appearance. Sorry, almost got this. All right, so this was packaged extremely well. Plenty of bubble wrap, as well as cardboard on the outside. And so the first one here, I've said in some of my prior videos that I really like kind of newsstand type copies. So this is a Moon Knight #1. So this is the first time he's in his own self-titled book, and so this is a newsstand of the 9.8. So I've had a 9.6 newsstand before, but in kind of the more modern books like this, I really like to get 9.8s, especially if I can get them in newsstands. So this one will probably stick with me at least for a while. It's just a really it's a cool cover. So many of Moon Knight's covers are just awesome. So I think that's part of the appeal of it. The art that goes with him. He's an interesting character, but the art that goes with it is also usually really cool. So, so is that. Then the next one is Marvel Spotlight number 28. And this is a 9.4, and this is the first solo story for Moon Knight. So his first appearance was Werewolf by Night 32, and then his second appearance, Werewolf by Night 33. I don't know what the order offhand, what the order is after that, but this is the first time he got his own solo story. And like I've said before, I really like yellow covers. I also really like purple covers. So these two together, I like both of those. So my favorite covers tend to be either yellow, purple, or red. I like the more solid covers that go with, or colors that go with them. But yeah, so first solo story, 9.4, really nice grade, book from 1976. Then Moon Knight number 1, 9.8 in a newsstand. So there are, if you go on eBay or something and you're looking for a copy of this and you kind of scroll through, almost every single one of them is going to have, a picture here. And it's very rare that a 9.8 you're going to see with newsstand. There may be one at any given time, but they're much less common. Whereas you'll find just tons of the 9.8s without without the picture. And then the other two are these Mark Jewelers variants. So we've got the Marvel Premiere number 47, 9.0 and Mark Jewelers' first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man, and then Amazing Spider-Man 194, which I really like this book. I've got a few copies of it. I have a 9.6 and another 9.2, and then now this 9.2. But first appearance of Black Cat. It's a cool cover, black cover, always tough to get in high grade because of all the black, and just another Mark Jewelers variant. So just another cool book to have. So thanks again for watching, and I'm sure I will film some more later and open some more boxes. So thanks again. Bye.